My name is Susan Undercuffler, and I am the Program Director for the Wildlife Forensic Sciences and Conservation Online Program at the University of Florida. I wanted to find out if there was a way to combine forensic science with my background in conservation biology. And I did that when I found University of Florida. And University of Florida has been at the forefront of developing online education programs and specifically combining forensic science with veterinary science. And so that is what led me to pursue this, and I got a master's degree in forensics. And because I had the conservation biology background, I started with domestic animals, and then I moved into the wildlife arena. Our mission with this program is to bring forensic science to the conservation field and to introduce forensics and the importance of using forensics in conservation and ecology and the wildlife professions. Often when you take courses in conservation or ecology, you have no background in forensics. In fact, you don't even realize there's a connection or that there could be a connection between conservation and forensic science. But there's a whole world of crime going on out there that involves strictly wildlife. And there is a serious need for more forensic scientists that have a background in conservation biology or ecology or wildlife in general. And so that is our focus. We saw a need for this. University of Florida was the first to create an online forensic science program for veterinary students. And we felt that there was a need for the same forensics background just applied to conservation and wildlife students. So that is why we created it. We realized that there wasn't anything out there for students who were interested in this, and possibly for students who already have strong either academic or professional backgrounds who don't want the traditional campus experience, who are already employed or possibly working in a Fish and Wildlife Service lab or agency and want to get the forensics training. That's why we created this program. The thing about wildlife forensic science is that even though the actual science has been around for a very long time, this field is very new. And being in this field means that you are on the cutting edge of a career in wildlife forensic science. And it's a career that's going to continue to expand. It's going to continue to be in demand. We're looking for tenacious people. We're looking for determined people. We're looking for people who care and people who are interested in making a difference. And those are the people who are going to succeed in this field. This degree is going to prepare you for multiple different options. So you have the option to work in one of the approximately 100 or so wildlife forensic science labs around the world. You also would be qualified to work for the state fish and wildlife agencies, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, or any of the private forensics labs out there. You'll have the forensics background to do that. You can also do field research, field ecological research, biology research, and students would also be able to work in conservation organizations, non-governmental organizations, or within the criminalistics disciplines, doing something like crime scene investigation. There's so many species affected. It's quite frightening when you get into the statistics and when you start doing some research as to the crimes that are happening now. It really depends on the crime. If we're talking about poaching, everyone's familiar with the big species, the elephants, the rhinos, the tigers. But there's also pangolins, and pangolins are extremely endangered, but a lot of people don't pay attention to them because they're not your typical large mammal. But if we're talking about the exotic pet trade, it's everything from aquarium fish to plants. Orchids are poached, redwoods are poached. So it's a huge field, and that's why it's so important that we need trained professionals to be able to evaluate and determine, has there been a crime committed? So here in the US, we also have problems with poaching and wildlife crime. So it's not just something that happens elsewhere. It happens in our own backyard here in the US, and a lot of people don't realize that. Species, everything from white-tailed deer to bear to alligator to manatees, they're all affected by wildlife trade, illegal trade. They can be impacted by poaching. So it can be the exotic pet trade with reptiles. So a lot of things happen here. We tend to always think about them happening overseas and happening to elephants and rhinos, but it is here in our own backyards as well. We're very proud of our faculty. They come from very unique, diverse backgrounds. We have people who are geneticists on staff that are teaching our genetics courses. We have wildlife scientists teaching human-wildlife conflict and wildlife toxicology. Very prominent forensic pathologists teaching wildlife forensic pathology. We have entomology, we have cybercrime investigators. So we are trying to bring as many different backgrounds to this as possible. It's not just wildlife and conservation, it's computer science, it's education. So all of our faculty come from unique backgrounds. They bring a lot to the table. It's a unique program in that you're not going to get this anywhere else. You're not going to be able to learn from these people anywhere else. Wildlife crime scene investigation course, where students are going to start with the basics of how to process a crime scene. And they're going to learn some of the features that are unique to wildlife-specific crime scenes. We also have a contemporary issues course where students will focus on current technologies within wildlife forensic science and conservation. We go over things like environmental forensics and isotopic analysis. And then students can also take a wildlife laws and legislation course where you're going to be becoming familiar with the wildlife and conservation laws in the US and globally. Research is huge. We need more research. We need more published data in this field. There just is a dearth of information out there. There are so many subjects and topics within wildlife forensic science that have not been explored. Everything from entomology to genetics work to isotopes to drones with crime scene analysis, you name it. So the field is really wide open. What we try to do with this program is balance it equally between the forensic sciences and conservation so that you have the background in both, so that if your tendency is towards conservation or wildlife, you can do that type of research. If your tendency is towards forensics, you can do that as well, and you can combine them. University of Florida is a top-ranked institution. Our online graduate degree programs typically rank within the top 5%. You will have access to amazing resources here. You have access to faculty that are international, that have an incredible background and diverse experiences that can help you through the employment process, that can give you a great learning experience, but they're also there to serve as mentors as well. You have so many advantages by coming to the University of Florida. We're looking for students who have a physical science background, physical science undergraduate degree, but we will take students who have differing backgrounds. But the most important thing is a desire to succeed in this field and making a commitment to conservation biology, to ecology, and combining those with forensics. This program can be completed in 2 years. It was designed with working professionals in mind. It was designed to be able to be accomplished along with working a full-time job, along with having a family. It doesn't need to be completed in 2 years. You can take several years to complete it. There are no in-person requirements for this degree. You don't have to come to campus, you don't need to relocate, and that was part of how we designed this program. We're designing it for working professionals. You can either call us directly at 352-294-6955 and speak with an admissions coordinator, or you can fill out an application online. We're looking for an undergraduate GPA of 3.0 or better. We are looking for undergraduate transcripts and 3 letters of recommendation from people who are familiar with your academic or professional background. You can find more information, including information about fees or international student requirements or GRE scores, at our website listed below.